Hey everybody out there, Chris and Mike here, and welcome back to another episode of our Dark Avenger Comic Book review. Really, it's mine.
Yeah.
He's just a monkey in the room.
I am your helper.
I am worried. Underneath this paper is the number. Oh, how did I know?
What?
I knew it. We're 4 episodes away from 200.
Yeah, now I know what you're thinking. It's Fantastic Four. I tried to make it related to comic books and superheroes so you wouldn't criticize about it. So I know you're going to criticize anyway, so go ahead. What are you going to say?
This was the most... anybody could have seen this coming a mile away.
You're never satisfied with anything I do, are you?
I'm very satisfied with everything you do.
You know how...
Don't you dare say you know how long it took to find that number 4.
Oh, good 20 minutes to find a big file of it and, yeah. Well, Google with their small, medium...
I'm paying for an editor. I don't know where it was going.
I don't know either. I'm like, okay.
Forget it. Okay, the skit's over with. Now let's get to serious business.
Yeah.
That was just a skit. There's 4 episodes left. We're at episode number 196.
6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was about to say 7. I cut myself off and said 6. We were reviewing books that were released on July 31st, 2013. The last week of July, the 5th week of July, the annual week of July when it comes to DC.
As well as 5 the end
weeks.
of July.
Oh boy, and the end of August is going to be fun too because 2 to 1, that's going to be the next wave of annuals.
And there'll be a 200th as well.
Right.
So
I'm going to have annuals again.
So that's good. More the merrier.
I absolutely agree. There are going to be extra books on that review on purpose. I'll be grabbing books. Even if I haven't been reading the series, I'll probably be grabbing some extra books. But anyway, this week, we're doing the last week of July. There's a nice amount of indies. We're going to go into Marvel. And then we have lots of DC comic books. Did not do a comic book haul this week. It was a hectically busy week. So there was no haul video, made no sense. By the time I was ready to shoot the haul, here we are at the review. So there is no haul video for the books this week. The only book that you will not see here was the previous issue of Supergirl, where it was the first appearance of Cyborg Superman on the last page, like I figured. So other than that, everything else is here. So let's get into the books this week. There was another book I wanted to mention, but I'm saving that for next week's weekly comic book haul, so stay tuned. Some of you already probably know what it is, but anyway, this is your book first. What am I doing? It's Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 251.
Of Worlds Collide, part 1212, the final issue.
Final, my you-know-what, especially with the ending.
Yeah, because really this book was a good way to end it off. But basically, Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman have the Chaos Emeralds to rule the world, and Sonic and Mega Man are trapped. Meanwhile, they get help from the original Light Robot Master.
I love how they have the checklist all checked off now.
Yep. And here's some artwork, which is the artwork has been amazing throughout all 12 issues and all that. So they're trying to figure out how to get out while the doctors are creating a Genesis wave with the Chaos Emeralds. Dr. Light saves them, and Mega Man goes a step ahead in his form with Rush the Dog. As well as Sonic going supersonic with Mega Man while the doctors are arguing with each other, because you knew that was coming.
I knew it was coming, yes I did.
Yeah. Oh, and this splash page, I gotta show this, where they're getting attacked by both Dr. Wily and Dr. Eggman's
Mike was a bit
robot.
upset because if you have a subscription with Sonic, Mega Man, and Sonic Universe,
somebody told me.
The books sometimes come a week in advance. So, as Mike was reviewing, it was Sonic Universe last, right?
Yeah, the last part.
Somebody mentioned that they got Sonic the Hedgehog that exact same week because they got their book ahead and kind of spoiled the ending, but not really. Not really after you read it.
Yeah, so so they attack the robot with a Super Bro Fist, and they do the Chaos Control. One hero sacrifices, and I'll spoil it here. Sonic sacrifices for Mega Man's world to be found, and it leaves us off in an ending where it's like...
Well, it's not really. Really, Sonic was going to do the same thing Mega Man did. However, Dr. Eggman interrupted and screwed things up.
But he sacrificed and said to Mega Man, you know...
You go first.
You go first.
I'll handle it.
Yeah, and then just like that, like, it just leaves us off with and...
It says right here, the adventure continues in Countdown to Chaos.
Which is right here.
Yeah, but the weird thing is, now,
what?
The one thing that I found, was it this one? There was a page in this book where... here. Next issue, Sonic the Hedgehog, number 252, At All Costs, Part 2. So, this was Worlds Collide, Part 12, as well as At All Costs, Part 1.
Probably.
Because it says Part 2 of At All Costs.
But it's after the Worlds Collide, so maybe it's going to relate to something different than Mega Man. Because now they're... You know, because I thought at the end of the comic book it was going to be them shaking hands, saying we did it, and go their separate ways. But it left us off... I mean, it was a great comic, nonetheless, as well as the series. And you guys should absolutely pick up all 12, but...
Very hard. They sell out very fast.
Yeah, just the ending was like saying but...
Yeah, the ending basically leaves it up in the air. Next week, the good news is next week, Mega Man comes out, so we'll see what happens after the whole crossover event in Mega Man. And then I believe towards the end of the month, Sonic the Hedgehog 252 comes out, and we'll see where the next stage goes for Sonic the Hedgehog. As far as Sonic Universe goes, it goes back out of continuity and returns to the before, like, little stories that are out of continuity, like from the past.
Yeah, like the past story.
Yeah, so it's out of continuity with the whole Sonic the Hedgehog world. Now we go into Vertigo for one book. Vertigo is a part of DC Comics, however we don't connect them. Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy's The Wake, issue number 2 of 10. Could you please go check on that?
Oh, the...
Yes.
Oh.
Anyway. And in this book, the Horror Fest continues with the fact that the man-person thing is free and somehow releases a pheromone, and that's how it basically paralyzes its victims, and that's how that explains the end of the last issue where the doctor was seeing her son. Basically, the person makes a pheromone and then he eats. And the whole rest of the book is them escaping the sea creature, and also there is a sick twist in the middle of the book. And basically they have to escape, and they're on the wrong side of the dock. So now they have to get to the other side of the dock, and there's a huge revelation at the very end of this book. And it turns out that that call that the doctor was studying might not have been a song. It might have been more along the lines of a call to others. So, it might be others. Or the last page definitely is a very... They're not in a very good place. Oh, I'm yawning a lot. But they're not in a good place at the end of this issue. And the artwork is spectacular. I did not show artwork because I was too busy going through the book looking for a good page. No. Lots of gore. Definitely something for mature audiences. Here's how it uses the pheromone. Might as well show this page. So also, by the way, the Flashpoint Paradox is out. This past Tuesday it came out. Not a fan of the arts, the animation style of that, but that's beside the point. I'm not reviewing the DVD, I'm reviewing The Wake. The Wake, this was a really good book. Awesome horror fest. You don't know what's real while you're reading this book, and it actually reminds you that, hey, don't forget, this thing can invade people's minds, so don't believe everything until all is said and done. So it leaves you questioning throughout the rest of the book, is this real or are they imagining it? Is this real or are they imagining it? Really good. Spot on. Scott Snyder's awesome at this book. Can't wait for the next issue. Highly recommend you guys check out The Wake. But of course go back 2 issues and start from the beginning, because if you don't, then you will be completely lost. Book of the week and month for July, as always. Cover B, this is the Kevin Eastman cover, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 24. Guys, I know a lot of you have been asking me to start up my in-depth reviews again for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Dark Avenger Inc. And I will, starting with this issue. However, I might not call them in-depth reviews. I might find a way to make it a turtleized, kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed review from issue 24 on. I'm going to see how I'm going to work it out, but I will be returning to in-depthly reviewing.
You can call it the Cowabunga reviews.
He will not be doing the title of it.
Cowabunga reviews.
So anyway, I will be returning to doing in-depth reviews of the Turtles starting next week, or this week with this issue. So you can expect an in-depth review of this book on Dark Avenger Inc. But for right now, let me tell you guys why I love this book and why it is awesome. So the Turtles are teaming up with Old Hob to find the Foot Clan and to find their long-lost brother. Also, Casey gets absolved from having to ever worry about his father again. He has a dream where he sees his mother, and his mother basically says, you've done well, you know, your father is no longer your responsibility, and it's time for you to wake up and, you know, move forward. And Casey does, and that's where we go into the Turtles then, who are looking for their brother. And you also see Mikey. I love Michelangelo. He's got that kindred heart. I love how they explain that during this series, where each turtle represents a different kind of emotion, and how Mikey is all party, but you know, in the cartoon series he was kind of like the jokey but kind of funny, you know, oh god, it's Mikey, you know, he's not taking anything seriously. But at least in this series they explain why Mikey's that way. He's a kindred spirit. He just loves everything and everybody, and all he wants in return is love also. And
that's what I like about him.
I love Michelangelo. And he actually has his moment with with Slash, where he gives Slash candy, and you see that Slash has like that smile, and you get like that, you see that Mikey makes that connection. This is an enemy, and he actually made, not an enemy, but somebody who tried to kill them at one time, and now Mikey kind of made friends with him, and it's like, I don't want to say, basically he found a way to make friends with a previous enemy. And of course, thanks to Old Hob, they do come face to face with the Foot. And also, spoiler alert here, but Splinter finds out what happened to Leo. Thanks to the Enchantress, I forgot what her name was.
Enchantress?
No, not Enchantress. Cowrie, I think her name was. No, Cowrie is his granddaughter. Kitsune. Thanks to Kitsune, basically she erased all of Leonardo's memories and replaced them with nightmares, and basically converted Leonardo to being part of the Foot Clan. And of course the Turtles try to fight Leonardo, but Leonardo is definitely one of the... he's stronger than all of his brothers, let's make it that way. He has more skills than his brothers, and of course he takes them out. And just when things look bad, as I said, Mikey makes friends with Slash, and basically they get out of there. However, what's next for Leonardo? Next issue, he's got the cover. So basically, Leonardo has been converted. So now the Turtles have to save their brother. That's the long and short of it. But this is an awesome series. Artwork for this series is really good also, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens next. I left out a bunch of dialogue and a bunch of stuff, which you guys can check out during my in-depth comic review, or actually just get the book. I'm actually purposely going to be holding off on this in-depth review for a couple of days. Probably towards the end of this coming week you will be seeing an in-depth review of this, or just a regular comic review, because I don't like giving everything away. I want you guys to buy the book. I love this series, and there's a reason why I love this series, and there's also a reason why a lot of people want me to start reviewing this book again, because the Turtles are underestimated as far as a IDW comic. When you say IDW, a lot of people are thinking G.I. Joe right now, Danger Girl, the Spirit and Rocketeer crossover. That, by the way, I did read that book. It's awesome. Get the first issue. You know, and Turtles are there too, but they're all the way at the bottom. Lock and Key or another thing. This series is spectacular. Obviously, you can't just jump in on this issue. However, this is part... what? It says it right at the very beginning. Part 3. You only have to go 2 issues back to start this story off. This is worth your time. This is an awesome series. I highly recommend you guys check out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is my pick of the month once again. So, Mike, You take this, and I shall return
Yeah.
in 2 seconds.
Okay. X-Men Legacy, issue number 14. I'm going to be brief because I'm telling you guys this after my in-depth review. This is the day after I did my in-depth review. In this comic, I'm just going to be brief about this. Basically, Peter Wisdom thought that... Ruth thought Peter Wisdom killed Legion, but he didn't because he did a little Halo deck trick thing. And the whole thing really, there are some parts that are like okay. Meanwhile, they go into Legion's mind, and did you change shirts?
Yeah, I had a. I'll tell you why later.
Oh, so yeah, so they're in Legion's mind, and Peter Wisdom wants to be back to reality because
I totally am not two different people.
Yeah, he doesn't like Legion.
I mean, seriously. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Yes. So Peter Wisdom sends Loki into a prison-like thing, and I'll give some artwork, which is, and he's just throwing him in there for his own good and saying that he's gonna tell his mother about what his son has become. I am done with this issue. I am done with X-Men Legacy. The story didn't grasp me, and some parts didn't make sense, and I did leave stuff out because, once again, like I said, I did my in-depth review yesterday before this, so, to be honest, can I just do what I want to do? I'm dropping it. That's it.
Cat, do what I do.
You know what? I said my in-depth review, I'm going to say here, I dropped it like it's hot, end of story, no more X-Men Legacy, until the story improves. Or if it makes sense and grips my interest, but... Just no. Just... Nah.
I kind of figured X-Men Legacy was going to end up that way. I don't know why, but the series just didn't feel right.
It didn't grasp me. You know, my opinion, I didn't like it. If you guys liked it, that's fine. But my opinion, no. Just go.
By the way, guys, the wardrobe change was due to the fact that I forgot I actually had to change shirts before we started this review. So, it hit me while we were recording, and I was not going to start this over. So, we're still in Marvel, and we're doing Venom, issue number 38. And for those of you who have been wondering who Mania is, it's revealed here. Venom, or Flash, is looking for Lord Ogre still, but there's a huge bounty on his head. So he basically has to hide, as they say, in plain sight. And he does that a lot throughout the issue. He goes in as Venom a few times, questioning people, trying to find answers, and everything comes up short. However, Jack-O-Lantern is definitely looming, and also, well, he's Jack-O-Lantern. And also, he does have all of his memories. It turns out that Flash ended up locking him up. He didn't end up killing him in the end. He actually makes mention that he locked him up. There's a death in here, and there's also a death of a character that actually we just meet or get to know in this issue. And we get to see the beginning, or the first appearance, of course, in the last page of Mania. And here's Mania. Next issue, we go forward. So for those of you who are speculating and wondering who Mania was, that were casting your votes, if you check out issue number 38 of Venom, you'll find out who Mania is. I'm not giving it away until the next issue comes out and we start reviewing that, because by then everybody will have known. Because for those of you that are really huge Venom fans, by now you should have read this issue, but I don't want to take a chance that, you know, there's always that week where somebody goes, you know, the next week for comics, so I'm not going to take a chance. This is a very good book, though. Artwork is very good for this book, as you saw. I really enjoyed the splash pages, which there were a few, and the story is very gripping. However, it's a good introduction for Mania. However, I want to see this Lord Ogre thing end already, because it's like, I feel like they're pushing it to the side to, you know, develop Flash Thompson more, which is good, but now it's time to go forward. And I know it is going to go forward because they did mention that Mania in a couple of issues is going to be the main focus, while other things are going on, so it's going to be interesting to see where the series goes. I'm really enjoying Venom. Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates, issue number 28. Iron Man is dead. Thor is beaten by the Hulk. And we find out who Kang is, and I'm not giving that away here either. If you want, you can read the book and you find out who it is. However, it turns out that Tony Stark's brainwaves, which they were using to unlock Iron Man's armory, yeah, that wasn't a brainwave. That was basically a signal, and that signal was basically to self-destruct all the armors, and then more. There was actually more involved. Turns out Tony Stark is not a stupid man, and he has a way of keeping himself alive through technology. And also, another character is brought back from the hospital, so to speak. If you've been reading the X-Men series, you'll know which character that is. And he actually is being brainwashed to follow Reed Richards' commands. And then we also get to see the rebirth, sort of Tony Stark. I will spoil that, through his armor. Basically, his armor says, "Welcome back, Tony Stark." He's like, "Not Stark, Iron Man."
Yeah, you tell him, Iron Man.
And actually, Kang makes mention of things that happen in Age of Ultron. She mentions about time fluctuating. I don't know if it really...
Oh, no.
I don't know if it really does connect... Are you done now? I don't know if it really connects to Age of Ultron, or if she means in general time is going to collapse. However, or has collapsed or whatever. But she does make mention about something going on in the time continuum, and she needs... They need the Infinity Gauntlet to kind of protect themselves from it. And obviously that doesn't work because hunger is going on. So it'll be interesting. This is the last series of the Ultimates, though. After this this story arc, the Ultimates are not on the Marvel pull list for a while. So it's going to be interesting to see how this story arc ends and where the Ultimate Universe is going to go with their Ultimates. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 5, which is also connected to Age of Ultron because this is where Angela makes her first appearance. Things are very tense on the ship between Tony Stark and Gamora, especially. And I love Rocket Raccoon. His personality is just, it's awesome to read in the Guardians of the Galaxy series. Region 7 is where Star-Lord is, and he's looking for help. And he looks for this woman whose name is Mantis. She has the ability to see into his mind, and it turns out from Age of Ultron, just like other characters, he was hit by the time rip, and he saw his life in multiple universes, multiple possibilities. Drax shows up for literally only one page, and then Angela... Basically, she doesn't attack Earth, but what the Guardians of the Galaxy think is she is attacking Earth. So they go in to figure out who Angela is, and Gamora doesn't wait. It's just a fight between Gamora and Angela, and Peter goes, Star-Lord goes to the one person who can explain to him what he experienced, and it's Thanos. And Thanos is like, it's because of the Earth, it's because of time and space, that Star-Lord was very close to a rip and he could have been lost forever. We don't know if we've lost any characters in the Marvel Universe yet, but basically the way Thanos is speaking, things could be lost in a different universe, like Galactus. Things could be anywhere at this point, and he's like, the Earth needs to be punished for what it's doing to the time-space continuum. Also, I love Rocket Raccoon explaining new technology to Tony Stark and the way his eyes light up every time he sees something new. I wanted to show that page where his eyes basically light up when he sees the new technology.
Oh yeah, it's like a kid at a candy store.
And he's like, oh boy. So that was Guardians of the Galaxy. Love it. Highly recommend you guys check this series out. Angela's probably going to end up joining the team. I don't know how long Iron Man's going to be a part of the team, but it seems like the way Infinity is going to go is Infinity is going to be a follow-up to Age of Ultron. And I think Marvel did make mention of that Age of Ultron happens, but Infinity is like a side effect of that. Which, okay. So Infinity basically is connected to Age of Ultron. Will I be getting it? I'll get the first issue of Infinity, and if it's good, I'll continue it. If not, we'll see. Daredevil issue number 29, one issue away from 30. This is continuing from the last issue. Basically, the Sons. I want to make sure it's the Sons of the Serpent before I say anything. No, the Serpent. The Serpent Society basically has infiltrated the courthouse, and it turns out that Daredevil, the person he's defending, or has defending himself, was actually, it was a whole plan to bring him there and kill him, because there's connections he had to the Serpents that they wanted to make sure he wasn't able to talk ever again about. And it turns out Daredevil learns that the Serpents are actually very deep in his house. And when I say in his house, I mean in the legal system. They're in the judge is part of it, police officers are part of it, bailiffs are part of it. So he's not happy. And long story short, he ends up saving his friend in the end. But he says basically, we are square. But now I have no time to deal with you, because there's another issue. He has an infested institutions of this city, and he knows that the Serpents have infested the institutes and the jury system and the law in the city, and basically he says, I'm gonna go clean house. And you're left with a cliffhanger, because I think somebody is back, or somebody is in Foggy's office that's going to be taking Foggy's place while he's gone.
Ooh,
or is it somebody? Or is it somebody that's going to be taking Foggy's place? Just to also make mention, that next issue does have Silver Surfer in it.
That's going to be cool.
But it's going to be interesting. It's just like with Daredevil #1, where one event in the first issue led into another event and into another event, and that led into the huge saga that we had before this story arc that ended at issue number 27. Now we have a new story arc, or a new connecting story, and now it's basically Daredevil cleaning up the judicial system and taking out the Sons of the Serpent, or whatever they're called, once and for all, getting them out of the system completely, cleaning house, like he said. And I am super excited to see where this series goes, especially with the next issue having Silver Surfer in it. Highly recommend. 5 out of 5 stars. #1 series. Mark Waid is magic with Daredevil. He's been magic since issue 1, and he has not tripped yet. So I'm looking forward to the next issue. Also, the artwork in this book is very good as well. Alright guys, so we're going to take our commercial break, and we will be back in just a second with DC Comics. And just for the record, DC Comics equals up to a little bit more than what we've already been through with Marvel and the Indies. So stick around, we have a long way to go. We got a lot of annuals to talk about. So we will be right back after this commercial break. See you guys then. Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. And I decided not to put this book with the annuals. I'm going to start off with a digital first book. But this is actually a special. This is the Smallville Season 11 Special #2, which is basically the second Smallville annual. And there is going to be a third Smallville annual in October. And once again, Clark is not part of this issue. It has no Superman in it. There are references to previous seasons of the Smallville series, and the main characters are basically the two people you see on the cover here, Lois Lane and Lana Lang. Now we all know that Lana can't go anywhere near Clark because of the, what was it on her body that she got?
She had like the kryptonite thing.
She had absorbed a lot of kryptonite, but the cells, or whatever those little things were on her body that gave her all of the powers that basically
like
Clark
has. Like she had the powers, and then afterwards she had like kryptonite.
Yeah, I'm
like,
trying to figure out what they were. What
I don't
she actually said what they do. The Prometheus.
Prometheus.
The Prometheus,
just like the
skin.
movie Prometheus.
Yeah. So basically, Lana and Lois meet up, and also Metallo is involved. And
Oh wow.
yeah, and basically Metallo has a kryptonite heart, and the Prometheus skin is attracted to kryptonite. So the skin leaves Lana at some point and goes to Metallo. I don't want to give away the story. You guys definitely should read this. But basically, Lana gets cured from her kryptonite poisoning thing. However, Metallo now is twice as powerful as he's ever been in the Smallville.
And twice the kryptonite.
Yeah. And basically, it's up to Lana and Lois to stop him. And they do, which is very good. However, now, at the end of this issue, Lana Lang is back to normal. No more superpowers. And no more kryptonite. So basically, she can go near Clark all she wants, and she won't hurt him anymore.
Good. That's really good news.
So this kind of fixes, or if Smallville did go to the next season, this would have corrected or made a happy ending more for Lana Lang and Clark. Because now Lana can go around Clark and not hurt him. However, in the end of this issue, she decides to stay where she is and do good even without her superpowers, which I think is awesome. But I do like that they kind of fixed that. I didn't like the way they let Lana leave the Smallville series on TV, where she couldn't go near Clark because she was completely full of kryptonite, and or her Prometheus skin was kryptonite, and going even an inch close to Clark hurt Clark, so she and him couldn't be together at all anymore. So I'm glad they kind of rectified that with this special. However, if you are only reading Smallville to see Superman, Superman is not in this issue. If you've watched Smallville, however, like we have, and have been a religious viewer of the series up to season 10 and now are reading season 11, this is a definite must read, because this continues or pushes Lana forward, her story forward. It advances her story. There we go. That was the words I wanted to use. I really enjoyed this issue, and definitely recommend it if you are a super Smallville fan like myself. If you're just an average Smallville fan, you don't need the special because Superman is not in it. Okay, now we're in the regular DCU with Superboy, issue number 22. Superboy is continuing to chase after the 20, and also he's working with Dr. Psycho, and he goes back to school. And I was talking to my friend Jay about this book, and he noticed something that I did not, and I'm sure he's going to be talking about this a bit more. I'm not giving anything away, but anyway, for those of you that know Superboy, we all know, and this is just nitpicking, but Connor Kent is C-O-N-N-E-R.
Where's that?
No, the way you spell Connor's name is C-O-N-N-E-R in the series.
Oh, I thought it was O-R.
They changed it to O-R.
I really did not know that until really just now.
But that's a nitpick. Beside the point, Connor is in high school to try to figure out, these kids or these teenagers are having episodes and being taken away in ambulances because they're going crazy. So it's up to Superboy to figure out why. And I think Superboy is starting to go a little bit crazy. And he's there for several days, gets in trouble several times. First he goes to the guidance counselor's office. The next day he goes to the principal's office. And then the last day he goes to the superintendent's office. And he actually says, you know, we don't want to lose a student after just 3 days, so get back to class and stop screwing around. And I love how he's wearing a classic Superman S shirt. Not the new 52S, the classic Superman S shirt.
Yeah.
On the last day. And this guy is attacking a teacher. He tries to save him. The teacher, and he's basically the bad guy. And it turns out, I think we all know who the person is, but basically this character that he makes friends with says, you know, we're all monsters, and the world needs to see what they, she's like
you'll see what they
we're all freaks, and you'll see what we really are. And it doesn't look good for Superboy in the last part. See, there's the classic S again. Things don't look so good for Superboy in this last page. It's not the last page. There's one more page which I'm not showing, but yeah, things are not looking good for Superboy at the end of this issue. To be continued. Now here's the thing. We all know Dr. Psycho is a bad guy because in the Justice League series, Superman is wondering if he was manipulated by Dr. Psycho.
Due to the research.
Due to research that the question showed Superman. So my question is, how does Superboy not know? And this is all, of course, once again leading into the Psy War, which we're going to get into later on in this review. But this is all leading into the Psy War. Superman and Superboy are more connected right now to the Psy War than Supergirl. Supergirl's still in space. After the Cyborg Superman thing, I think she's going to be heading back to Earth, and that's what's going to lead into the Psy War. I don't think she's going to have a prequel. This is more of a prequel, Superboy's prequel to the Psy Wars. Superman's been doing his prequel in Superman, and now in Action Comics, the last issue, that was a lead up into what's going to be happening in the Psy War with Hive. Moving into the Green Lantern side of things now with Red Lanterns. And I say Green Lanterns and then it's Red Lanterns issue number 22. Guy Gardner doesn't think before putting the Red Lantern ring on, and now he's a mindless Red Lantern. However, thanks to Rancor, who throws Guy Gardner into the sea of, what was it, the lake. It has which he finds out has magic that basically gives the Red Lanterns back their mind and their ability to think. Of course, Bleez wants to use Guy Gardner kind of like the way AIM is, like the way S.H.I.E.L.D. is using the Hulk. Basically use him as a gun. Aim him and fire and let him be like the lapdog for the Red Lanterns. And Rancor doesn't want that happening. So Guy Gardner comes out a little while later and of course, thanks Rancor for, doing what he did. And now that Guy Gardner is thinking clearer, he has a thing with Bleez, and basically he says, you guys don't need a leader. You guys just need organization, and you need, this place sucks. You don't have tents, you don't have anything. So, show of hands, who wants a roof over their head tonight to sleep? And, basically they find a spaceship with a space pirate who's been harboring, or who's been basically killing and harvesting certain aliens. One of the aliens is part of the Green Lantern Corps. His name was Chassilon. For those of you that are Green Lantern fans, you know who that is. I know who it is too. Guy Gardner is getting too comfortable in the Red Lantern ring way too fast, and thanks to Dexter, Atrocitus isn't so down and out just yet. Everybody believes Atrocitus is dead, but thanks to Dexter, I don't think so. And as things move forward, we'll see where that goes. But basically, Guy Gardner tells the Red Lanterns you don't need a leader. And in the end, though, he does kind of end up their leader, or leading them to advance forward. So it's going to be interesting to see where the story goes. Guy Gardner definitely makes Red Lanterns a really good read. And it's great to see that Guy Gardner has his own series again. And with a great supporting cast, I think that the Red Lantern book is definitely one of the top books in the Lanterns line right now. Highly recommend you guys check this series out. Another series that I definitely highly recommend you guys check out, and this is another digital first book. However, it is The Adventures of Superman, issue number 3. One story, the whole book. So it's not like you're going to be reading several stories in this book. And it's called Faster Than a Speeding Bullet. Superman, it's a classic Superman tale where Lois Lane is with Lex Luthor. This takes place around the same time that Lex Luthor was running for office. However, once again, remember, DC doesn't want Lois and Clark married. So, of course, Superman is living one place, Lois is living in another. And Superman's basically just routine in space. Lots of dialogue. I am warning you guys. Lots of internal dialogue goes on in this book. Very little talking on Superman's end. Artwork in this book is awesome. On Lois's end, however, there's Lex Luthor telling Lois, "You're going to help me, or else everybody and yourself, you're basically going to regret it if you walk out of here and don't help me. I'll kill you. I'll kill your family. I'll kill everybody and everything you care about." While in space, Superman is doing like all these different things, preventing a war, saving people, saving planets, and then he meets up with none other than Darkseid, and it goes to fighting Darkseid and saving the day in space. And then he comes home, and actually the last thing he does is save Lois from Luthor. It turns out Lex Luthor had a bomb that he was going to set off with Lois, and he saves Lois, changes into Clark Kent, and they walk to work together. And yes, they're not together, but at the same time, by the end of this book, you definitely get that feeling of, you know, nostalgic moments. And like I said, this book has some really spectacular artwork. I cannot tell you guys, I cannot stress this enough that the artwork in this book is great. Why? Oh, this is a little. Okay, it's part of the book. Just making sure. I wanted to try to find a nice splash page, but it's hard to find.
Well, it looks really good though. I mean, even with Darkseid coming back.
The Darkseid is a classic Darkseid. Superman is in his classic costume, the way we all should see him in the comic books still, even if it's the new 52. This is an awesome book. You can read this digitally first. You can right now go on DC Comics digital and order the latest digital issue, or you can do what I do, wait once a month, pay $3.99 and have it in hard copy. This series is spectacular. Had a rough beginning with the first issue, because all due to the artwork, of course, but now they're in their third issue, and the artwork, the story, spectacular. Highly recommend it for any die-hard Superman fan that's been, you know, looking to see Superman in his classic costume with classic tales from pre-New 52. This is an awesome series, and definitely satisfying for those people who like classic Superman look and stories.
Alright, we're heading into now the Trinity War tie-in, starting with Constantine, issue number 5. I did look into this comic book, and actually one of our friends on there, Mike Spyslayer, did a in-depth review on this. So
Dark Avenger Inc.
On Dark Avenger Inc., so you can go check it out. Starts off where Constantine and Shazam are with each other because Constantine told Shazam that he knows about the Black Adam and about his family. So they have a little bit of let's just say they have a little bit of a switch power.
A voice switch.
Yeah, a voice switch where John Constantine can be Shazam, whereas Shazam could be just Constantine in that sense. So then we get introduced to, well, I don't know if they know about this, of the Cold Flame. Because
I
this is
have
the
no
first.
idea who they are.
Well, the Cold Flame are John Constantine's worst enemies. It was featured a little bit in Justice League Dark. And they induct a new member, and yeah, a lot of stuff happened. It attacks John Constantine because they think it's really him and they want to kill him, whereas he had the power to be Shazam. And
yeah, because he stole Billy's voice, so now the lightning or the powers were tricked, and now Constantine has the abilities of Shazam.
Yeah, but they have an all-out amazing fight where, of course, John Constantine won that. In the end, though, they did switch powers back to the way they were. And basically John Constantine has lied to him about not knowing about, like, lies about his family, and yeah. So basically in the end, this man right here, what was his name? He sees that John Constantine's hurt, and he wants to see what happened.
He's the owner of the bar, let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's the owner of the bar. It's basically...
Turn the page, I think you said his name in the next page.
Lloyd.
Thank you, I knew it was
yeah, and then here's the crazy part in the end. Somebody is looking for revenge.
And somebody is having an out-of-body experience in the last part of this issue.
And he says, time for payback. If you want to know who it is, you have to read this issue, but Constantine makes a lot of enemies. Well, I didn't know that.
Nobody likes Constantine. He's
from
a jerk.
Justice League Dark, but I would say definitely pick it up. I mean, it's a Trinity War tie-in, but yeah, it was interesting though. I will admit that.
So a new series you're sticking with?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be reading that. So
well, there you go. Mike drops
Legacy,
and he picks up Constantine.
Welcome aboard.
Trinity of Sin Pandora #2. I'm guessing this is going to be an ongoing for a while. There are major hints dropped in this book, and this solidifies my reasoning for saying this. Everybody who is a fan of the DC Universe should be reading this, and the Trinity Wars should be reading this book. And I will tell you guys why right now. Okay, first of all, this takes place after the goings-on from Justice League. Let's say Justice League right now. Pandora has a target on her. Not only from Argus, which is basically the Justice League of America, those people where Amanda Waller works for them. Not only does the secret, not them, Argus, Agents of Shade, which is basically Frankenstein's old alma mater. But now the Secret Society wants her, but not for her. They want the box. And basically Pandora figured, you know, she tried Superman, but he wasn't the purest of hearts. And she's like, since I can't find the purest of heart, I'm going to start with the darkest evil. And she knows exactly who she wants. Vendel Savage. Vendel Savage is immortal just like she is. And she feels that he is pure evil only. And there's a huge fight between her and him. And actually, the hint was dropped before we continue with the fight. One thing she says, and as Brant says to me all the time, maybe this is grasping, you know, for that little bit of hope. But she says here, when I get the box open, the world will be purged of the evil it unleashed and will be made anew.
And they put in bold letters,
anew. So, what's going to happen when Pandora gets the sin put back into the box? And the word anew is a key word. They even bold it here. Maybe it's grasping at straws. Maybe Brant's right. But I have a feeling if DC ever opens Pandora's box and traps the deadly sins, retraps them back into the box, the way she says, we will be made. She even says made anew. And remember, when Flashpoint happened, Pandora transferred herself into the DC universe along with Wildstorm, and they merged, and that's when basically it was already where Pandora had released the 7 deadly sins, and she actually says to Flash during Flashpoint, I need your help, and she figures bringing the DC superheroes in, they'll be able to save her from her curse once and for all. And she says that in Flashpoint too, and they'll be able to basically they'll save me from my curse and they'll be able to fix everything. So what's going to happen when the 7 deadly sins get retrapped?
That's going to be,
as she says, things are going to be made anew. So this could be a point like either Flashpoint again, where things will basically change, where I guess it'll happen after Forever Evil, where if they finally open Pandora's box and she is able to retrap the 7 deadly sins.
It could be good or bad.
Not a reboot, guys. DC already claims, it said, not claims, they said we will not reboot the DC universe. But maybe this will be like a 0 hour where they'll tweak certain things and certain things will change, but the universe won't reboot. The numbers will basically stay the same.
Makes sense, yeah.
So, now we get back to the fight between Vendel Savage and Pandora. Vendel Savage basically says, we want the box, don't make me kill you. She's like, you know what? You're the reason why I'm here. I want you to have the box here. And she gives it to him. And it turns out, to her disappointment, Vendel Savage has some good in him still. There's still some good in Vendel Savage. So he is unable to open Pandora's box.
Who can?
That is the question. Who can open Pandora's box? We'll find out, I guess.
So that's 2 people that tried. Superman and...
Pure good and pure evil.
Who was that guy? Savage?
Vendel Savage.
Vendel Savage, yeah, that's 2 people. So...
And neither worked.
Unless Venom Stranger tries. Because you know him with the spirits and all that stuff. I mean, you never know.
I don't know.
That's just a prediction. I'm not just throwing it out there.
So, I guess we'll figure it out, but looks like DC Comics has a little 0-year setup if anybody ever opens up. And I love how they bolded anew. On purpose. I don't know if it's to give false hope to DC Comic, you know, old universe readers like myself, or if they're seriously thinking, you know, hey, we're going to find a midpoint, we'll meet you guys halfway, we'll fix the universe a bit so the old readers will be happy, but we won't change it all the way completely back. This way we'll keep the new readers happy. I'll live with I'll meet halfway. Halfway is better than no way whatsoever, like what we're at now. But I am liking DC Comics anyway. Highly recommend you guys check out Pandora. These are just my predictions. I could be wrong. We are now in annual territory. The rest of these books are all annuals. I got every single annual this week because I'm reading every single series, except one, because I'm not reading that series. Detective Comics Annual 2. I did not get that. I have no idea how it went, how it is, what it's about. I have no care to read it. So let's continue forward with the annuals I did read, which is everything else, including Smallville, which I already reviewed. Starting with Flash issue annual number 2. This is the first meeting between Flash and Green Lantern. Flash figures out who Green Lantern figures out who Flash is right away when they first meet, and he actually goes and says, "Listen, I'll tell you what. My name is Hal Jordan, so don't worry. You know my identity, and I know your identity now." The artwork in this book is awesome. Basically, kids are going missing in the past. This is several years in the past, and Barry and Hal meet up, and Barry's investigating these children going missing, and Hal actually is investigating it also, and it turns out it's Barry's first time in space, and this all links together to an event that's happening in the present. Basically, how Flash and Green Lantern are able to save all the children, but Green Lantern makes a deal with the woman who was stealing the children, basically that himself and Flash are going to compete in this intergalactic tournament that's going on, and they do, and Flash turns out Green Lantern gets put in trouble, and Flash actually ends up getting Green Lantern's ring, and thus getting all of Green Lantern's powers. So can you imagine the Flash with a Green Lantern ring?
Yeah. No.
And in the end, everybody gets arrested because Green Lantern now has the probable cause he needs to arrest the everybody at the arena, the Planet Arena, and also this does connect with the Green Lantern book because Hal actually says, "I'm the leader of the Green Lanterns now." And then there's a side story that takes place 2 years ago called Details, which is just Flash, you know, a normal day in the life of the Flash, and I love the last page the most, where it shows everything he's done is connected in the end. So that's a plus to this book. This book was an amazing read. I really enjoyed it. I left a lot out on purpose because you guys should be reading every single one of the annuals I will be reviewing right now, and this is definitely a really good read. It's more along the lines of a explanation of how Hal Jordan and Barry Allen met for the first time, and how they're you know, how both of them are important to each other. You know, their friendship is very important to one another. So definitely a must read, especially if you're reading the Flash series. And if you're a Green Lantern fan, you're going to like it too. Batman Annual number 2. I don't care what anybody says. This was supposed to be a connection to Zero Year. There is a connection to Zero Year, but one page. Basically, it's about this woman who's an inmate, who's been an inmate there for a very long time, and this new guy that takes over at Arkham Asylum. He comes in from Metropolis. His name is what's his name?
Eric?
Eric, thank you.
Yeah.
He's one of the new doctors or people that works in Arkham, and he meets up with. He's the one that actually talks to this woman who says, "I've been here for many millennia," and at that moment, Batman's in Arkham Asylum testing out the security and how secure it is, and this woman's been there since the beginning of time. Basically, she has cells that keep her. She's basically immortal in a way, and she thinks she's crazy. She put herself in Arkham Asylum years ago when it was a nicer place, a peaceful place, and then she says Batman came around, and now all these psycho people are here, and now it's hell instead of a place to heal, a place for her to find her sanctuary. So she attacks Batman. And yeah, she wants to hurt Batman bad. She goes into his mind basically also and sticks him in his own hell, where he sees his parents die again, Damian die again, his brother die, and she says, you let your brother die, you let your son die, your parents died. Hell is for heroes, hell is a cage, and this is the cage you belong in, and Batman breaks free. And in the end, basically, Eric's the one that actually saves this woman and says, you know, don't do it, she's sick, and, you know, she just wants, you know, this to be a good place again, you know, she just needs help. And he actually has a lot of faith. He reminds me of Superman. He's like, nothing's lost forever, everything can be saved. And he actually says, you know, I want to make a difference here. I want this place to be a force for good in Gotham, a beacon in the dark, a friend, and it shows in his eye the bat signal. And the only connection to Batman and Zero Year here is the fact that during Zero Year, and Batman actually, the woman says, you know who I am? Do you know who I am? And he actually says, yes, I know exactly who you are. And he goes back, it's one page. I'm not kidding, one page. And it says here, the 0 year, where he's looking into information about the Red Hood gang, and she sees him, she follows him, and she attacks him because she's like, this is a sanctuary, you know, those are doctors' files, you have no right to be here, get out, get out. He hides, she gets put away, and they think that she's violent from that point on. And, yeah, basically, this is the only connection to 0 year. That's it. And, it says featuring 0 year, and they're not kidding. It definitely was featuring the 0 year in literally only one page. So I don't know really why they said this was more of a 0 year annual. In my opinion, this definitely was just a regular Batman annual in present day, because obviously they were showing all the present day stuff that's been going on in Batman, with one page connected to 0 year. This is definitely a must read. Absolutely. This was an awesome, awesome book written by Scott Snyder. Once again, this annual is by Scott Snyder. However, to say this is a part of 0 year, no, it's not. You can put this next to your 0 year, and when 0 year is over, you can put it after 0 year, before 0 year. There's only a brief mention of 0 year in this book. So, if you're buying this just because it's 0 year, you could skip it. It's a skippable issue. Next, we have the Animal Man Annual number 2. Cliff is dead, and this takes place in the present at first, where Cliff is trying to avoid the paparazzi, who are following him everywhere, and then he finds an article in the paper saying Animal Man's son's death a hoax, and he gets mad, he tears up this shop, and then it goes back to 4 years in the past, right before Rot World, actually way before Rot World. And I don't know if this was a play on the character or just a little poke for Green Arrow fans, but the villain he's fighting has a green arrow in his back. So I don't know if this was a little, not stab,
I don't remember Green Arrow fighting.
A nod to Green Arrow or not, but basically this, Animal Man is fighting him, and in the end he wins, and it's about Animal Man and his son. He goes to pick his son up from school, and he meets up with the character you see on this cover, which is basically the Spider Queen, Anorak. Oh, how do you pronounce her name? Anansa. Yeah. In the past, though, she attacks the humans. She uses humans to feed her children, and they feed off of not the flesh as much the mind, the dreams. And she takes Animal Man's son. So Animal Man chases after to save his son. And in the end, he gets sucked into the dream world also. The artwork is definitely really good in this book. And he has a conversation with the woman saying, you know, you can feed off of animals, but you can't feed off of humans anymore, you know. This is not, you know, you can't do this. And she lets the humans go, and Animal Man actually finds a place for her to be safe. And this is also around the exact same time where his daughter is born. We jump back to the present, and he actually goes and confronts her years later in the present, and asks, he says, please, I have one thing I want, and he tells her, my son is dead, and she's like, you want his mind stuff, you want his dreams, and he's like, yes, I need to see it one last time, and it's basically him, his son's dream is him and his son.
Oh, wow.
And he just breaks down at the end of this issue. So this was Jeff Lemire just writing Animal Man. You know, this is basically Cliff's way of coping with his son's death, and he's not handling it very well. He's doing a lot better than Batman did when his son died, but his son died under different circumstances, and let's face it, his son was Robin. But it delves you deeper and gives you a huge emotional connection with Cliff, and you understand his connection with his son and how deeply it's affecting him as a person, that his son is dead, all thanks to what happened during Rot World, where he was, you know, a huge family man with his wife, his daughter, and his son, his newborn daughter. Now he's nothing. Now he's all alone, and the paparazzi are the only people that just won't leave him alone. And you really feel for Cliff after reading this annual. This was a awesome annual this week as well. All the annuals this week were really, really good, and they all pertain to stories that are going on right now, except for Batman Zero Year, where it does connect to Zero Year, and I'm sure there will be a reference in Batman at some point to this annual. For the most part, though, this is the most disconnected out of, well, actually no, the Flash is the most disconnected out of all of the annuals. The Flash annual was basically its own entity. Batman was, for the most part, its own entity with one page connected to the ongoing story. This is definitely connected to what's going on in Animal Man right now. And finally, this week, Book of the Week from DC Comics, and definitely connected to the story that's going on right now, because it actually says to be continued inside... excuse me. Try that again. To be continued in Psy Wars next month. Superman Annual number 2, Brainiac. This issue ends where it begins. It begins with Lois Lane. For those of you that saw the preview, she was thrown out of a building. And at the beginning of this issue, she's basically, it's Lois Lane's internal mind saying, I was murdered. I'm dying. And why is this book my book of the week? First of all, it's Dan Jurgens' artwork. I love Dan Jurgens' art in Superman. I wish Dan Jurgens could be Superman's full-time only artist, but that's not the case. So it goes back in time then to how many days in the past? Oh, it doesn't say. A week ago, where Lois Lane is doing research on. Well, first she meets up with somebody who has this very weird, large green brain. Does that not take you back to the old Brainiac of the early 90s? It does. And this person reached out to her for help. So now Lois has taken on the case, and Superman tries to help as well. More awesome Dan Jurgens artwork on Superman here. But the main character, the main focus of this book, is on Lois Lane, and also there are connections to the Action Comics story where Brainiac attacks Metropolis and shrinks it down. Basically, the 20 are connected to Brainiac. When Metropolis was shrunken down to a bottled city, Brainiac chose 20 people who went missing, and these were all part of the, I forgot what project it was called.
Project Down?
No. But basically they were taken, and Dr. Psycho was one of the 20 as well, I believe. And basically Lois Lane finds out as she's going forward in the book that these people choose to hide. They're not dead, they're not missing, they're hiding among the people, waiting for Brainiac basically to come back. And one of them actually dies here and passes his powers on to Lois Lane. So now she's kind of cursed as part of the 20, and it actually says to be continued in the pages of Action Comics and Superman in the Psy Wars. And the backup story once again is the Krypton story with Jor-El and Lara, and things aren't looking good for Jor-El at the end of this story arc either. I'm surprised they actually put a piece of this, which is from Action Comics. This is Superman's annual. This has been going on in Action Comics. They actually said Action Comics 23 is the epic conclusion to the world of Krypton. Very surprised they actually put it in this book. But anyway, this main focus is on Lois Lane and her trying to, you know, find the 20 and discover what exactly is going on. And this all is leading. Viral Docs is actually mentioned in this book as well. This is all leading into the Psionic War, or the Psi War, which is coming, I believe, next month, as a matter of fact, in Superman. It's going on right now. Hive is involved, but in the end, it's going to lead into the Psi Wars. This was a spectacular book. Huge lead up to what's going to be coming in the Superman books. Lois Lane, once again, is the main character of this book, though, but it doesn't take away from the awesome artwork by Dan Jurgens and the awesome storytelling. Left out a bunch of stuff, stories by Scott Lobdell. Left out a bunch of stuff on purpose because this book is spectacular. You guys definitely, for those of you like me who were not too happy with the New 52 Superman at first, especially after the issue 19s, things have definitely been picking up for Superman. And after reading this book, I am super pumped for the Psi War, which is coming very soon. Loving this series. Book of the week. TMNT, though, is book of the month. And that's it for this week.
Yeah.
So I guess let's finish up this week, round it out.
Nice.
And let's go through the annuals. The annuals, Superman Annual 2, awesome, definitely must have. Actually, you know what? All the annuals. Superman Annual number 2, Animal Man Annual number 2, Batman Annual number 2, and The Flash Annual number 2. All these annuals I highly recommend you guys check out. All of them were awesome reads. Trinity of Sin, Pandora, issue 2, definitely another must-read. Huge connection to, I believe, huge things to come in the DC Universe. Constantine, issue number 5.
Interesting issue. I will be picking up the issues of Constantine, and welcome aboard.
Adventures of Superman issue 3. For those of you that love the classic Superman, you're going to love this series. I love this series. I highly recommend it. Red Lanterns issue 22. Guy Gardner is definitely making the series a worthwhile read. Definitely check out Red Lanterns. Superboy 22 continues. Superboy and Dr. Psycho's teaming up to find or discover the 20, or somehow help the 20. I don't even know anymore. Dr. Psycho definitely has other plans, obviously. Smallville Season 11 Special number 2. Another must-read. A definite must-have. Awesome read. Highly recommend that for those of you Smallville fans. Daredevil 29. Mark Waid continues to bring on the awesome with Daredevil. Guardians of the Galaxy issue 5. Angela is now here. Guardians of the Galaxy. Another awesome series I highly recommend out of Marvel. Ultimate Comics Ultimates number 28. Really awesome series. Avengers Disassemble. Highly recommend it. Venom issue number 38. Really great read as well. X-Men Legacy number 14.
Boring issue. Dropping it. Goodbye. Until it gets interesting again.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 24. Book of the month. Absolute must read. If you have not been reading the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, go 2 issues back. Start reading. It's a spectacular series. Guys, if you haven't even tried it yet, you are missing out on a really awesome series. The Wake, issue number 3, awesome series out of Vertigo, and Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 251, the end of the Worlds Collide, but it doesn't really end here. It goes on.
As well as an awesome comic and awesome series all together.
Also, guys, speaking of recommending, don't forget to check out comicrelated.com, your #1 source for comic news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. DarkAvengerInc.com will be coming soon. We are working tirelessly to get the website up. Might be another week or 2, but it'll be worth the wait. Trust me on that, guys. And if you haven't already subscribed to Dark Avenger Inc. on YouTube, please do subscribe to Dark Avenger Inc. This way we're in your sub box and you won't miss out on a single video that we post on YouTube. We do it as much and as often as possible. 2 videos from me and Mike went up today. There are more videos from us that we will be posting throughout the week. Probably more along the lines on Tuesday. Anyway, guys, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting. 4 more episodes until 200.
Fantastic. 4 more episodes to go.
Gotta get somebody else to do the picture next time for 300. Take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting. I'll see you guys really soon in another video. Until then, guys, take care. See you next review.
Later, guys.